This video is brought to you by the lovely sponsors below. Thank you so much for your support. Okay. That tea shop owner was right on the mark. That's some good tea. Congratulations, Ginseng. You've now taken the top spot next to Jasmine and Earl Grey. Now, for a quick shower and... Huh? Is someone driving manually? Coming in. Just checking to make sure everything is okay. Oh. PT?
Mr. Burr, sir.
Guess I shouldn't be surprised that you know how to drive this thing. But, what are you doing up anyways?
Could ask you the same thing, honestly. Don't you generally exercise much earlier?
Well, it's less exercise and more like some light stretches before bed. Wait a second. How do you even know that?
Trade secret. Forever a mystery.
Well, not entirely. This kind of stuff is normal for you, right?
So you know that already then.
Yeah, BB had spilled some of the beans during our time in Lulahawa. Said something on the lines of, keep Senpai on his toes. And then she popped some balloons and was chased off by Ushi and Ibaraki.
Huh. Well, thanks for the little tidbit. Makes me a bit happier to know she got properly punished for it.
Alright. Heard about your scuffle too. What did you end up doing?
Do you see that flash drive over there?
Huh? Where?
It's outside. On the windshield.
Barely.
She's currently stuck in there being looped through every single exercise routine from the last millennium. It's completely randomized too.
That sounds horrible.
Oh, I really hope it is. I looped in the worst rated songs in all of creation as well. It changes every odd loop and then changes back every even loop. I honestly hope that she hates it.
Same old PT. Despite everything, still you. Isn't it?
Was there ever any doubt?
Well, I'd be lying if I said no.
Well, I wouldn't blame you. And it wouldn't be the first time I've heard it. Probably won't be the last time either.
Yeah, heard about that too. Look, man, I know you had your reasons for going. Don't blame you there. But an actual heads up would have been greatly appreciated. Especially since...
I know.
Part of your trade secret?
Well, since BB already mentioned it, yes. Being able to look into a timeline's recorded history helps to fill in the gaps.
If that's the case, you can't see the future then, right?
Not exactly. Sure, there are some things that can be predicted, but I generally don't have knowledge of what is going to happen. So if you're about to ask what I think you're about to ask, no. I couldn't have done anything to save her.
And you're not bullshitting me, right?
Cross my heart. The Haunted House protocol was set to activate automatically after Leonardo had successfully secured everything needed. Anything else that happened after that was out of my hands.
Right. The system went haywire, and all the locks were destroyed as the rest of Chaldea's electronics started malfunctioning. So, for Musaki, it was just pure chance then that Kirei...
Yeah. I'm sorry, Musaki. If I was there, I would have done everything I could to get you all out. But I had been putting off that meeting with Logos for a very long time. If I didn't willingly go at that point, she would have sent another recorder to come get me. And that wouldn't have ended well.
My guess, from the way you're talking, is that it wouldn't have been a simple pickup?
Honestly, Chaldea's destruction would have been the bare minimum of damage.
And at most?
Musaki, you really don't want the answer to that.
Come on, man. You got me all curious now. What's the damage? How bad we talking here?
Everything here would just be another closed record in the moon cell.
Closed?
Completely. And look, I know you're still thinking of everything that happened back in Chaldea, replaying situations over and over and over again in your head, thinking of different decisions you could have made, should have made, and regretting some of the decisions you've made now. But know that you did everything you possibly could have at the time. More than most people thought possible, myself included.
Thanks, PT. To be honest, I did everything. I still wake up with nightmares about what happened. Musaki, Da Vinci, Romani, everything. It's in the past now, I know, but I can't help still think of what Kire said to me about all my actions having consequences. Actually, come to think of it, you said the same thing to me before Solomon.
Well, it's true. Still is. This timeline has been forever distorted by the actions of people who don't belong to it. Even if those distortions were suddenly removed, it would still be extremely difficult to fix. All that you guys can really hope for is that the timeline stays stable enough to continue forward.
And that's what you're here to do, right? Keep it stable?
As much as I can. But if it ends up going too far gone, then... well, you can probably figure out the rest, right?
Right. The timeline would get cut off and become a lost world of sorts.
Essentially, yeah.
I know it's not really my place to ask, but that's what ended up happening to your timeline in the end, isn't it?
You are correct. It became too unstable and was severed to prevent any further problems.
Jeez. Hearing you say that so casually is actually terrifying.
Is it? Huh. Well, it's more like I've accepted what happened at this point. Back when we had talked about it before Goetia, I was still very much not over it, but you already knew that.
I don't blame you, man. It's not something I don't think I'd ever really get over if it happened to me. Like, if our positions were switched, do you think our fates would have been that different from what happened? Would I have your life, and you have mine?
You say some pretty philosophical stuff when you're tired, Mr. Burr. But honestly, who knows? Maybe it'd be me in that suit and tie. Would have hated wearing that all the time, though. No offense.
None taken. Though it's funny you mention the suit and tie. My brother used to say, just for the job you want to have, not the job you have. And I took those words to heart when I became a director 3 years ago. Honestly, I always felt constricted by them. But I wanted to make sure I did things right. Shows how naive I was.
Once upon a time, I would have agreed with you. But there isn't exactly a manual on how to save the world and keep it safe.
Is that your way of saying, wing it?
Strictly off the record, of course.
Ah, I see. Alright then.
But I'd be lying if I said you're the only one who's thought about it.
Oh?
Yeah. If our lives were actually switched around, would things have been different? Would I have been happier living in that world?
Well, you said before, for one to succeed, then one must fail, right? So if you succeeded, that means that I would have...
Oh, sorry. I should have been more specific. It wouldn't have been your life that had been switched with mine. It would have been your brother's.
What?
Oh, come on, Hajime. I know you already put some of it together. He and I share the same first name and we're both referred to as Trailblazers? Did you really think it was some crazy random happenstance? Or some convenient coincidence?
Of course not. As soon as BB mentioned what your name was, I had a lot of questions. We were so busy with all the remnants and everything else, and you were gone, and everything had gone to hell. There wasn't any time to process anything. It's been non-stop since then. I've lost my sister, Chaldea, Okita, the groups fell apart, the Lost Bells pushed us to the brink, and now I'm finding all this out? What am I supposed to do?
A lot has happened. I get it. I know.
Do you? Because before this got dropped on me, I had to help Alter with her unstable... Never mind. It's nothing.
Hold on. What do you mean by unstable?
Just forget about it, please. I'm handling it. Anyway, back to what we were discussing before. I need an honest answer from you. So no snide remarks, sarcasm, or any of the usual sass. Can you do that for me?
Okay, sure. Fire away.
Do you hate my brother?
Honestly? No. He had no way of knowing what would happen, and even if he did, it wouldn't have made a difference at all. The fate of that entire timeline was decided long before I was even born. I just ended up having to deal with it. And as you already know, it didn't work out at all. But if you had asked me at the end of that timeline or any time before our first major argument, then I probably would have said yes.
I see. Thank you for your honesty.
He's doing okay, by the way.
What? Wait, you've...
Yeah, I had a chance to look while I was away. He's still fighting as hard as he can to keep that entire timeline alive. The cryptids haven't been kind, but man, he's been giving them hell at every turn. Honestly, he's a true trailblazer, through and through.
He's stubborn, but I'm glad to hear he's okay.
Honestly, I'd say more than okay. He somehow landed on a huge meeting table owned by the cryptors and declared all-out war right to their faces.
How the hell did he... Never mind. He got alright.
Yeah, somehow. Even I was surprised, like, holy crap, man. How the hell did you even manage to do that?
Some things never change.
Yeah, like I'm sure he thinks of you too.
You really think so?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, BT. I think that's enough of a late night chat for now.
Finally going to bed?
Not yet. Maybe a shower. Still got a lot to think about. Between all of this and figuring out what Kirei was talking about back in Goto Damarang, honestly, I've been using the exercise to try and focus my thoughts and try to narrow down who may have been communicating with him, but I can't figure it out. Only thing that's been clear is the amount of sleep I've been losing.
Well, for all we know, Kirei could just be saying it to mess with you.
Maybe, but it's just... I have a feeling. You know?
Right. Well, from everything I've had the chance to check over in the Shadow Border, every channel is actually monitored and archived. This has been going on since it was first activated, so if you check through there, you can probably see if there's any unknown communications that happen to correlate with what Kirei mentioned.
Right. Yeah. Da Vinci mentioned that before. I mean, a lot to read through, but that can help narrow down who's responsible for this. Then maybe Musaki can rest a bit easier.
Personally, I'd recommend reading between the lines when checking through everything.
Between the lines?
Yep, for anything that seems a bit strange or even hiccups in the archives. Sure, everything is programmed to work properly, but take it from someone who's run circles around most systems, including Chaldea's. Things don't always work out the way they're advertised.
Well, you are the expert.
Mooncell certified.
Thanks, BT. Think I have a path forward now.
You're welcome. Just remember to watch your back, okay? Whoever the mole is knows the Shadow Border and its systems. And as much as I'd love to help you drag them out of hiding, probably best not to draw too much attention.
I appreciate the thought. But Musaki was my sister. So, it's a brother's responsibility. You know how it goes.
Perfectly understandable. Do your best, Musaki.
Thanks again, Vathana.
Okay, wow. That's really weird to hear coming from you. Look, just stick to PT, okay? It's probably less confusing that way, and it worked perfectly fine before, so let's not.
Fair enough. I'ma still say Vathipu sometimes, though.
And I will try my best to resist the urge to shoot you every time.
Much appreciated. Trying to just stay up too late, though. You know Anita gets if she catches you.
Yeah, I know. I'll give it a bit longer, but for now, take care of yourself, Musaki.
Good night, PT. Melt, I'm gonna visit Sherlock. If you can, please, keep an eye on the office while I'm out. Maybe a long night for me.
It's never quiet for too long, is it?